Yeah, YouTubers Tasman here bringing you another Fantasy Grounds from the ground up player edition. Now, there's some of these episodes that are going to overlap, and I'm not sure exactly how I want to do them. This would be one of those because the GM can do this very thing and actually have it. I don't know if I have another set of videos that is like player slash GM. I don't know, but right now there might end up being a second episode that's almost identical to this, but I re-record it and it'll be more towards the Game Master itself. But we're going to go ahead and look at the character selection. So we went over the whole interface in the last episode. Now we're looking at characters. How to create a character, because this is going to be one of the things you really want to do. So prior to creating our character, one thing I like to do is actually come over to our guy here, our chat, and type /die, and then do 4d6, and then I do DL1. So what this is going to do is going to roll 4 6-sided dice, and it's going to drop the lowest one. And so now if I hit enter on that, you'll see that there we go. There's our, I think I've done this before. So as you can see, we rolled 16. That's actually a really good roll. But now if we hit the up arrow, we can drag that down here and do our others. Because depending on how your Game Master rolls for attributes, and there are 3 ways. There's the point buy system, where you're given, I believe, anywhere from 27 to 30 points. And then the higher level you buy, or the higher number you buy for your character, actually costs more points. So it kind of works out that way. There's the standard array, where you, instead of rolling your 6 attributes, you get 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. And you get to distribute those where you want. And the other way is you roll 46 6 times, and each one you drop the lowest one. So here you can see we got 12, 16, and that. So we're going to want that for our character wizard here. And I like, I think the character wizard, if I remember right, it's actually been a little while since I've been in it, actually has a thing for rolling, but it's so much cooler to see your dice roll and stuff. So we're going to click on character wizard first. We're going to create a character that way. And then in the next episode, we'll probably actually create a character the standard way. So as you can see, here is what I was talking about. You have the standard array. Here you can put the name. These are the different categories that you can actually put. So you can do your stats, choose your race, choose your class, choose your background. Now, I actually like to do these in a different order, and I'll explain that in a minute. But let's talk about this window here. This is your summary window. So everything that we do from all these other ones will actually give you your summary here, showing your proficiency, your skills, traits, languages, features, specializations, and your class. And then, of course, you have your race, background, and name. So let's go ahead and we're going to create a Tazzy. We're going to create a cleric. T4ZZIE. Because I always do Tasman or Tazzy. So I wanted to kind of do the same thing. So we're going to create a cleric here. And as I was saying, we have our standard array, which is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. And you can see strength, dex, con, int, whiz, and cha, which is your charisma. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, one, is you might want to know, before you're going to distribute these things, it doesn't make sense to do those right now because you don't know exactly what race you are. You don't know what you want. I mean, a cleric is way different than a rogue. A rogue, you definitely want to up your dex and probably your constitution, so you're harder to hit and you have more health. Or if you're going to be a arcane trickster rogue, I believe you also want int, because those are what you'll use for your spells. So a really good idea is to come here to your characters or character and then click on the different things. So we know we're going to make blah, blah, blah. We know we're going to make a cleric. So we're going to click on classes here, and then we're going to click on cleric. And one nice thing about the player's handbook, and I hope it's in here too, is that it will give you a quick build idea. And I'm really hoping that's included here, but I'm not seeing it. Now, it might actually be, if we go into our library, it might also be there. Not there, library. If we go into modules and then load up the... I don't think it's in basic rules. I think it's in the SRD data. Might be in rules. Let's go look at data first. If we go to reference manual, this is basically if you printed it out. So this is more along the lines of the Dungeon Master's Guide. I think it just tells you how to play the game and stuff. So that's not what we want. So let's go and check this one out. Tables, magic items, NPCs. Background. No, this is the... Did I click on that one? I didn't think I clicked on that one. Because this is the one we want. This is the player's guide. This is more like the Dungeon Master's Guide. So let's click on that. Oh, there it is. I didn't see that one. So creating character. Let's go and click on races and see if it has the info we need. So we click on cleric. No, it looks like it's going to be the same thing. And that's kind of sad. So that means you just have to do a little bit more research than if you had the player's excuse me, player's handbook. By the way, I apologize up front if I cough and sneeze and sniff and all that stuff. I've got a pretty nasty cold. So let's go ahead and do it this way. We'll go ahead and go to cleric because we'll still be able to see what we need. So as a cleric, we need to have a decent, constitution, which is our health. So let's go over those real quick. So our strength is obviously how hard we hit with a melee weapon. Dexterity is your armor classes based off of that. Also, ranged weapons and thrown weapons and finesse weapons like daggers, rapiers, things that you need some kind of finesse, I guess. Constitution is basically based for your health. Also, it's, how long you can hold your breath. If you get nauseous, food poisoning, all that fun stuff. Intelligence is your book smarts. This is things like history, religion, your knowledge of that. I believe also wizards use intelligence because they are book smart. Wisdom is how you perceive the world around you. And I believe clerics actually use wisdom, but I'm going to show you where you look that up. So wisdom would be how you perceive the world around you. This is your perception. This would be things along those lines. I'm trying to think of other examples, but perception is probably the biggest thing. And then charisma, despite what a lot of people think is if you have low charisma, it means you're ugly. That's not actually the case. It's how people perceive you. So it would be how good you are at lying and stuff like that. Deception. So what we want to do is find out as a cleric what we're going to want. So if we go look at our cleric in here, some ideas we can actually get to know these things would be, one, what kind of weapons. So you can see we have light armor, medium armor, and shields. So we don't have heavy armor. We have all simple weapons. So that's your bludgeoning, your piercing, and your slashing. So those could be strength weapons. You could hit harder with strength with a warhammer than, say, with a dagger. So you might want that. Saving throws are wisdom and charisma. So these are things that are increased that work with your bonus, your proficiency bonus, which we'll go into. They're the saves that you're proficient in. Then, of course, you have your skills. So if we come down here, there's this area called spellcasting, and this is where we're going to see more of the information we want. So we come here, and we'll go ahead and expand this out just a little bit, and we're going to look, cantrips, blah, blah, blah. In here, it will tell, here it is, the ability. So as you can see, our spellcasting ability is our wisdom modifier. So that means all our spells are going to be using our wisdom modifier for saves, usually, depending on what the, well, that'll be our spell DC save. So we definitely want our wisdom up decent, because that is how hard it's going to be for enemies to resist our spells, how much damage our spells do. But we'll also, if we're a cleric, we might be up front. We have to go touch our friends to heal them for big amounts, or we can from a distance. So, you know, Constitution, Strength, and Wisdom are all probably really good. If I go look at the player's manual, let me go look at that real quick, because I believe it is Strength and Wisdom are the recommended. But unfortunately, that's not included in the free stuff. So let's look really quick at Cleric. So quick build Cleric. You can make a Cleric by quickly following these suggestions. First, Wisdom, which we just said, followed by Strength or Constitution, which are the other two. So we choose between those. Then it also recommends choose Acolyte for the background, which is good because that's the only background available to us. So that's what we want to base that off of. So we would want our highest rolls to be on our Wisdom. So in this case, if we wanted Wisdom, if we're doing standard array, we can click these and it will move this and replace the 14 with the 15. You can't actually, so now you can see there's the 15, there's that. So it's kind of slow to do that, but you can actually move everything where it needs to be. I mean, now if we want to move this 8, we have to do that. So it can be a little bit difficult to do, but we also have the point buy system. So point buy, as you can see here, you start with all 8s, and we have a total of 27. Now, it doesn't look, it doesn't look like it actually gives the option to up this or anything, but the default is 27. And you'll notice with everything 8 and it being 27, you'll notice if we increase our Wisdom by 1, it costs us 1 point. If we increase it from 9 to 10, it costs us 1 point. If we increase it from 10 to 11, it costs us 1 point. 11 to 12, 1 point. But the higher we get, I think once we get to 15, so here you see it actually costs 2 points to go from 13 to 14. So it costs from 22 to 20. Blah, blah. And if we go 14 to 15, it costs another 2. And that's the highest we can actually get with our Wisdom directly. So point buy is a little confusing. It's really, if your GM actually says do that, go Google a point buy calculator and do it there. It'll be a lot easier. The next one is manual roll, which is what we just talked about. And the same thing is if we do dice roll. If we do this, it'll automatically roll everything and throw things in there for us. If we do manual roll, which I like personally, is you just get to actually enter in your values. So let's go ahead and, oh, there's our, we have our first one that was 16. Let's clear this real quick. I like that first one. I'm going to go ahead and hit this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we got 3 15s, which isn't too bad. We got a 14, a 12, and a 9, which will be our dump stat, right? So let's go say, all right, well, the 3 it recommended was Strength, Con, and Wisdom. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put 15 there. I'm going to put 15 there. and I'm going to put 15 there. So that gets rid of the 15s. We have a 14 and a 12. I do know that this will make us harder to hit, so I'm going to put the 14 in Dex. And then we have a 12 and a 9. So our intelligence or our charisma, how good do we want to lie, do performances and stuff, opposed to book smarts? This is a toss-up, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do 14 here, and we'll do the 9 there. So we've kind of done that. Now, the thing is a lot of times you don't want to do this yet. I like to do this in a completely different order. I like to figure out what my race is, and then my background, and then go ahead and do my class, and I'll tell you why. So let's go ahead. We're going to be the standard, let's just be an elf. We know that they have a good wisdom if they're a high elf, I believe. So as you can see here, this is going to give us some bonuses. If we go back to stats, now you see we get a bonus to Dex, we get a bonus to Int, right? Because I guess I didn't want high elf, I wanted something else. But I might change how I actually want to place these based off of that information. Like, I might have wanted to put, say, well, if I put the 9 here, that goes to 10, 11, which is a 0 instead of a -1. So you might want to actually know what you're going to do with your race, so that you know exactly where you want to increase your different things, and then put your die rolls after that, because see, this is not actually a 14, it's a 16, which is higher than our int and our strength. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So the next thing I like to do would be the background. Did I already? Oh, I need to do my languages. So we chose that. Our sub race is going to be high elf. It's showing us here that we get a +1 to intelligence and a +2 to our dexterity. So now we choose our languages. Obviously, we already get Elvish. And I guess we get one more. So let's do maybe Celestial. I mean, we're talking to deities and stuff. So there's that. And then we get to select a free cantrip because we're an elf. And let's go ahead and do Firebolt. Why not? So now you can see we got a little check on that. The next thing I like to do is background, and I will show you why. So we're going to choose Acolyte here. And this will give us another 2 languages. But one thing we'll see here is it also gave us Insight and Religion. When we choose our class, we get to choose our skills. And sometimes Insight and Religion might be there. So if we choose those in our class, when we get our background and it forces those, we basically just lost 2 skills that we could have chose from our class. Hopefully that makes sense. So now that we have this, let's see. So we get to choose 2 more languages. Maybe we'll do maybe Goblin and Orc. Why not? So there you go. And now you'll see that our background is done. And if we go to class, remember Insight and Religion are the ones that were there. And if we go choose our Cleric, you'll see that we get to choose History, Medicine, and Persuasion. But if we didn't choose our background, there would, I believe, Insight and Religion would actually be listed, or at least Religion would be listed here as well. Which means if we chose Religion here, well, we get it as a freebie with our background, and we just basically lose it. So let's go ahead and do maybe History and Medicine. And we only get 1 choice for our specialization. We're going to be a Life Cleric. So now that we have all that, we placed our stats, which maybe we would have went another way after seeing all that. Now we can go look at our inventory. The rest of the stuff, I think it's fine to just go as it is. So with a Cleric, you get to choose between an Explorer's Pack and a Priest Pack. Let's just do the Explorer's Pack, and you will see that If we go into inventory, does it show us our... Oh, I thought it showed us our inventory in here. Features, skills, traits, proficiencies. It doesn't look like it. Then we get to choose our choice of armor. So a thing about, if we want to know more about these things, we can actually click on the little eye, and some things to keep track of from this. Actually, this is PHP Deluxe. So we can't do that one, but we have, actually all these are going to say that, aren't they? I'm not sure why, because we didn't even list that as our options. Interesting. But usually you can actually look at those. We can still look them up if we need to. We can come under, I believe campaign, go under items, and we can type them in here where it's just getting them from the SRD. I'm not sure why that's trying to do PHP Deluxe, but if we do chainmail, so chainmail is definitely going to give us more armor. So here's chainmail. If we click on that, we can see it's considered a heavy armor. However, it's going to give us disadvantages, stealth checks. So if we're trying to be sneaky, this is not going to help us because it's clanking. Same thing with the scale mail. If we go to scale mail, SCALE, scale mail, and we look at it, it's also going to give us disadvantage on stealth check. However, it's going to start us at an AC of 12 and then allow us to put up to 2 points of our dex, which I think we have 3 or 4 to us. So that means our dex, our AC would end up being 14, 15, 16 with scale mail. And this is medium armor. With that chainmail, which is heavy armor, because I can wear it, if we go look at it, it actually starts at a 16, but we don't get to add our dex bonus. So this is going to still give us a 6. So the 14, 15, 16, maybe 17. But it's not actually going to give us anything. As far as the actual armor goes, it's not really doing much. So if we go look, for example, at the chainmail and the scale mail, so we go click on the scale mail. So this one starts as at 14. Let's go back to our stats. Is this showing us our bonuses? I think 6, it's not showing us our bonuses. So if I go look, let me just go double check, because I think 16 is, it's either a +3 or +4. And I know once we create the character, it will definitely tell us. But let me go check on D&D Beyond on one of my characters. I think they might have a 16 or 17. There we go. So it's a +3. And then 18, or 17 and 8. Yeah, 17 and 16 is +3. 18 and 19 is +4. And then a 21 is +5. So this is +3. So if we're looking and we want to create our character here, and we're looking at this, something to keep in mind, this is +3. However, with this, we can only take 2 of it. So that means we're 14, 15, 16. Well, this starts at 16 and doesn't actually get a bonus. In order to use it, though, you have to at least have a strength 13. We meet that. So either of these 2 armors are the same for us. Now, the only thing is let's say one of these didn't have disadvantage. Maybe if we went medium armor, but it didn't have disadvantage, that would be the better choice for us, because that's all armor does is increase your AC. There's nothing that says heavy deflects more or anything like that. It's just this simple equation right here. And you'll see that in this case, it's purely cosmetic. You can say that you have the scale mail, or you can say this. They're going to be the same ultimately. So, if you want to just say you have heavy armor, then you can do that. So we'll go ahead and do chainmail because it's not going to really change anything. And then we can choose our weapons. So we have club, crossbow, dagger. And we can once again go into items and type those in since this wants the player's handbook. And maybe it won't do that with you. I think it's doing that with, no, because I didn't buy it through Smiteworks, so it wouldn't even know I have the player's handbook. I'm not sure. But you can go look at each of these things, usually clerics will have like a light hammer or the war hammer. They can't have a war hammer. A mace or something like that. So here, the things you might want to look at is, if we go mace, right? We can go look at a mace, which is standard. Here, you're kind of looking at what the damage is. So 1d6 bludgeoning opposed to the light hammer, which is 1d4 bludgeoning. So obviously, if I want to do more damage, this is going to be the thing we're going to want. It's a simple melee weapon. So, and then of course we can add in our proficiency bonus because we do this. Or you could do great club or whatever. So you can look them up if you want. We're going to go ahead and do the mace. I think that's fine. And then we're going to have a holy symbol. This is kind of what we channel our magic through. Let's just have an amulet. This is all cosmetic and for your story. And then our background choice. I'm not sure. I guess we'll have an emblem. It seems our background choice, I guess, had another one, inventory item. So let's do that. And then next we have our spells. So you don't get the little green check here, but we've gone through everything. And now I think we click purchase equipment. And now we can see all our equipment, right? Oh no, this is for purchasing equipment. This is our starting equipment. So we're done. So let's go ahead and click on spell next. So this is really nice because it tells you exactly what you get. We get 3 cantrips, we get 3 spells. So let's look at our spells. Once again, I bet if we click on this, we're going to get a thing. Oh, actually that one pulls up. I don't know. So mending is a good cantrip to have. So if we click the little down arrow, you'll see it adds it here. It does show you that it's a cleric cantrip, so that's good. Guidance, resistance, maybe Sacred Flame, that's good. Does some radiant damage. Spare the Dying is a good one for a cleric. What it does is allow you to go touch a person that is dead, and it just puts them at 0 hit points or unconscious. They no longer have to make their death saving throws. They're just simply unconscious. So that's definitely a good one for a cleric. So we'll go and do those. Then we're going to go ahead and click on level 1 spells. Obviously, a cleric is going to have cure wounds, And the other one that they might want as far as being a life cleric would be healing word. The difference between these, this one does less, but you can do it ranged. This one, you have to touch, but it does more. I was just curious if maybe this also showed that it's ranger, druid, and bard, but it doesn't. So now we have, 2 or 3? So now we get another one. Let's do guiding bolt is always pretty good. Create, destroy water. Purify food is a good one. Food and drink, in case you're in a place and you have raw food or something, you can actually purify it. I recommend not always getting just damaging spells or things like that. Some of these spells, like, purifying food, create, destroy water, you can use those creatively and get some pretty good things. Sanctuary is a pretty decent one. Let's, for our cleric, they want to make sure our people don't get food poisoning or something. Let's go ahead and do that one. Let's do purify food. And now you'll see that we have our 3 of 3. We can still technically, we can still add things. but that's kind of cheating because now we have 4 of the 3. So we can go ahead and get rid of that one. And now we have what we need. If you're, say, level 4, or if you're very human, you can usually get a feat. This character does not get any feats. Or if you say, can you actually make a level 4 in here, or do you have to level them up outside? I never even thought about that. So, as you can see, we click on that. It says we don't have any feats. So, we're pretty much done. So, we click commit, and boom, there is our character. And we'll go more in depth on this, and we're actually going to create another character. Maybe we'll just do a fighter in the next episode, but we're going to do it manually to show you the difference. So we'll do that just by doing the add item here. So I think that's good for this episode. My throat's about to give out on me. But hopefully you found it informative. So here you can see our AC. Because we don't have our thing equipped, we probably should go in here and... Oh, did we not buy everything? I don't think we did. I think when we click purchase, it undid the other thing. So we'd have to go open up our character and see what stuff we could get. But we're kind of going to do that when we do it manually. So that's okay. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Check it out if they like what they see, they sub. We grow the channel. Win-win, everyone. And that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.